एक है पंजतन 5 है, इमाम 12 है, मासूम 14 है।
अल्लाह एक है, पंजतन 5 है, इमाम 12 है, मासूम 14 है।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला अशरफिल अंबिया'i वल मुरसलीन शफीइल मुज़निबीन व खातिमिन नबिय्यीन नबिय्यिना व शफीय्यिना व हबीब क़ुलूबिना व तबीब नुफूसिना बिल क़ासिम मुहम्मद वअला अहले बैतिहि अत्तय्यबीन अत्ताहिरीन अलमासूमीन अलमुंतजबीन। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। फ़इलैक या रब्बि नसब्तु वजही व इलैक या रब्बि मददतु यदी फ़बिइज़्ज़तिक इस्तजिब लि दुआई व बल्लिग़नी मुनाया वला तक़्तअ मिन फ़ज़लिक रजाई वक़्फ़िनी शर्रल जिन्नि वल इंसि मिन अअदाई। या सरीअर रिज़ा इग़फ़िर लिमन ला यमलिकु इल्ला दुआ फ़इन्नक फ़अालुन लिमा तशा। या मन इस्मुहु दवाअ व ज़िक्रुहु शिफ़ाअ व ताअतुहु ग़िना। इरहम मन रअसु मालिहि अर्रजा व सिलाउहुल बुक़ा। या साबिग़न निआम या दाफ़िअन निक़ाम या नूरल मुस्तवहिशीन फ़िज़्ज़ुलम या आलिमन ला युअल्लम। सल्लि अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद वफ़अल बिमा अन्त अहलु व सल्लल्लाहु अला रसूलिहि वल अइम्मतिल मयामीन मिन आलिहि व सल्लम तस्लीमन कसीरन कसीरा। अम्मा बाद फ़क़द क़ाल अल्लाहु सुब्हानहु व तआला फ़ी किताबिहिल मजीद व फ़ुरक़ानिहिल हमीद व हुवा अस्दक़ुस सादिक़ीन व क़ौलुहुल हक़्क़। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। इन्ना अंज़लनाहु फ़ी लैलतिल क़द्र व मा अदराक मा लैलतुल क़द्र। लैलतुल क़द्रि खैरुम मिन अल्फ़ि शहर। तनज़्ज़लुल मलाइकतु वर्रूहु फ़ीहा बिइज़्नि रब्बिहिम मिन कुल्लि अम्र। सलामुन हिया हत्ता मत्लइल फ़ज्र। आमन्ना बिल्लाह व सदक़ल्लाहुल अलियुल अज़ीम। सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद। We send our condolences today to the Imam of our time, Imam al-Zamana Ajalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And of course also to the Holy Prophet and Fatima al-Zahra Salawatullahi wa salamu alayha. On the martyrdom and the death anniversary of the commander of the faithful, Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Before I start my majlis, I have been requested to make a couple of announcements. First announcement is that the Shias, of course, are going through a tumultuous time right now. And it is only because of the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib that we are being targeted. They were targeted at a time after the death of the Holy Prophet, and that target continues up to today, just because of the hubb of Ali ibn Abi Talib. As you know, recently there was a couple of bombs that killed our brothers and sisters, children as well, in Panjtan in Pakistan. And the community has a box outside here. If you want to donate towards the family of the victims who were killed in those bombings, then you may do so. And remember what I said yesterday, tonight is the night where any act that you carry out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies that act manifold. So if there is an act of charity that you want to carry out, tonight would be a good night to do it. So there is that box if you want to donate. Another announcement that I've been asked to make is that tomorrow's majlis will start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah? 4 o'clock? Yeah. So please, tomorrow the majlis is at 4 o'clock, and my sincere apologies to the youth. I know there is a lot of youth who have come to me who have really appreciated the fact that the majlises and the lectures are in English to a large extent, but tomorrow's majlis inshallah will be entirely in Urdu. And we are blessed tomorrow because we have two very prominent Nauha Khans who are going to be joining us here tomorrow. And my majlis inshallah will not be long. It will be a very short majlis so that we can take benefit of those zakirin who are also going to help us in commemorating the Aza of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And I think it is, the respected brother Nadeem Sarwar is going to be here. And I think also Zafar Abbas Zafar is also going to be here, and they will also be doing the Aza and helping us to mourn and grieve on the martyrdom of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Also, I wanted to just make a third announcement, and I had a communication yesterday with a brother in this community. His name is Musaddiq, and he does take groups for ziyarat as well, but specifically he has talked about the fact that there is a group of youth that are being that is being planned for doing the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in Arba'in, inshallah. So I think there will be flyers. You will get flyers for that, and the cost and everything will be articulated in the flyers. And let me tell you one thing, as I mentioned yesterday, the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein will be an experience that will change your life. There is no doubt in it. I guarantee you this. There is no doubt. So if you have youngsters who wish to participate in the ziyarah, you can contact Brother Musaddiq. I can't remember his last name, but Mukhi, that's right, Brother Musaddiq Mukhi, and he is organizing this group. So please do participate if you can, because it will be a very good group. I think that it's joining the spiritual group that goes from London and other places, and there are some very prominent speakers and lecturers as part of that group, inshallah. So you will join them. Salawat Palla Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So we want to continue with our theme about the ascension towards the proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And over the last couple of days, yesterday we diverted a little bit, and we spoke specifically yesterday about the significance of the night and the philosophy behind the night of Laylatul Qadr. On the 19th, I started a theme of looking at Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, and I wanted to emphasize that the life of Amirul Mu'mineen is a life that is based on mysticism and Gnosticism, and it is... Salawat. Make sure kids have this. Okay. So the life is a life that is based on mysticism and it is based on Gnosticism. Salawat Allah.
हबीब खुदा खत्मतुल अंबिया बुलंदतर नाराए सलावत.
Okay, so is that working now? It's not working. Doesn't matter. You can hear me though, right? So maybe I should just continue because everybody can hear me anyway. All right, yo. Okay, yeah. So we mentioned last time that the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam can be looked at in many different angles. And last time we talked about the fact that Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli identifies that the most important aspect of the life of Imam Ali is his life that is related to mysticism, irfan, and his Gnostic life is the most important. Last time we looked at the worship and the prayer of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Yeah? You remember we talked about how it was that Imam at one time was able to be cognizant of his relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the fact that he gives a ring in the salat is that he is so immersed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that his whole body, his hands, his legs, his arms, his eyes, his ears are now in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we went one step further and said that not only that, when we talked about the story of the camel, we said, the two camels that the Holy Prophet had, we said that not only were his senses in control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also the imagination of Ali was in control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we learn this from the Gnostic life of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and we try and look at how we can implement this as we journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our day-to-day life. And what is important in that we do is that whatever we do, we keep this goal in mind, and the goal is that the ultimate goal for us is meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is being in the proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is feeling the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our hearts. If you look at Amirul Mu'mineen, he never asked anything other than Allah. He never asked for anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever he desired something, his goal was always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His goal was nothing else. His goal was always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at what he says in Dua Kumel. In Dua Kumel he says, وَأَسْأَلُكَ بِجُودِكَ أَن تُدْنِيَنِي مِنْ قُرْبِكَ وَأَن تُعْزِيَنِي شُكْرَكَ وَأَن تُلْحِمَنِي ذِكْرَكَ. It's all he's asking for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I ask you through your munificence to bring me to your proximity, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's saying, I'm asking you to provide me with gratitude towards you, and I am asking you to inspire me with your remembrance, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, his dua is very different to our dua. Our dua is immersed in worldly things. His dua is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't want anything with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now last time we looked at the worship and the prayer of Ali and determined how it was fully irfanic, and that Ali had in fact surpassed that level of fana. He had gone beyond the level of fana, beyond the level of being dissolved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has this capacity wherein he is able to manifest the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the fullest possible extent that it can be manifested. Today we wish to examine another component of Ali's Gnostic life, And that is his life in the battlefield. You see, one may argue that a personality like Amirul Mu'mineen, a personality like Ali ibn Abi Talib, would be expected to be completely dissolved in Allah when it comes to worship and prayer, right? I mean, some of us would say, well, what else do you expect from Ali? That when it comes to his worship and his prayer, he is completely dissolved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it is a state of being in a battlefield, a human being is engulfed in the most intense situation, right? It's not easy, to be in a battlefield. He is now engulfed in the most intense situation. A person in the battlefield has to be focused on the job at hand, because his life depends on it, and in fact the life of others depends on it. So to have any other thoughts other than the goal of fighting with your enemy and killing your enemy, it would be very dangerous for somebody who would be in a battlefield. Yeah? But let's see what Ali is like in the battlefield. And we will see that even when he is in the battlefield, he is completely immersed in Allah. You see, let's look at the Battle of Khandaq. And I don't have time to, so much time has gone. I don't have time to explain the historical context of Khandaq. But I want to just illustrate the approach of Amirul Mu'mineen in the Battle of Khandaq. He is fighting Amr bin Abdawad. Amr bin Abdawad was known as one of the greatest warriors of that time. And of course, he was on the side of the enemies. Now, Amr bin Abdawad, his reputation was such, this is history, his reputation was such that one Amr bin Abdawad was equivalent to 1,000 people on the other side. That's how brave Amr bin Abdawad was. And also, one of the things that we find in the history of Amr bin Abdawad was Amr bin Abdawad was a very rich man. He was a loaded guy. Right? He was very rich. His armor was made of gold and studded with diamonds and rubies, and he used to wear these gold chains, and he was full of all this jewelry and was adorned with all this jewelry. And that's how he would enter the battlefield. Grand warrior. He comes in Khandaq and he challenges the Muslims. And he says to the Muslims, come and fight me. And the history says that the Muslims are sitting down and they are so still. See, the Prophet is asking them, so who is ready to go and fight Amr bin Abdawad? And the history says that the Muslims are so still that it was as if that there were pigeons, like there was a bird sitting on their head. And any movement they would make, the bird would fly away. That's how still they were. Sometimes, if you go to an auction, right, you have to be very careful because you don't want to gesture. You just have to be very still, because sometimes even a small gesture means that, you made a bid, right? So these guys were so still, they were so still that even a bird would be able to sit on their head and would not fly away. That's how still they were. And the Holy Prophet says, who will go and fight Amr bin Abdawad? And Amr bin Abdawad gives a challenge. He says to the Muslim, he says, come and fight me. You see, for you, look at Amr bin Abdawad, a smart guy, man. He says, for you, it's a win-win situation. If you kill me, then you'll go to Jannah. You've killed a great warrior. And he says, if I kill you, then you become a shaheed. You go to Jannah anyway. So it's win-win for you, man. Come and fight me. But everybody is standing still, sitting still. And the Holy Prophet says, who's going to go and fight Amr bin Abdawad? And one man stands up. Ana lahu ya Rasulallah. I will go and fight. And the Holy Prophet says, sit down. Ali sits down. Who will go and fight Amr bin Abdawad second time? See, tomorrow nobody can say, we didn't get a chance. Nobody asked us. Right? Ali went straight away. Nobody can say that. Second time, who will go and fight Amr bin Abdawad? Everybody is sitting still. This man gets up again. Ana lahu ya Rasulullah. I will go and fight him. He says, sit down. Third time, the Prophet says, who will go and fight? Now Ali gets up and says, Ana lahu ya Rasulullah. I am ready to go and fight. And that's when the Holy Prophet says to Ali, now go and fight. And when Amirul Mu'mineen is going to fight Amr bin Abdawad, the Holy Prophet makes a landmark statement. He says, look at this man today, because the entirety, he says, the entirety and the embodiment of Iman is now going to fight the entirety and the embodiment of Kufr. Allahu Akbar. What a statement that the Holy Prophet has made. Now Ali ibn Abi Talib comes to the battlefield. He says to Amr bin Abdawad, he says to Amr, oh Amr, he says that I have heard that you always used to ask the person you were fighting, you always used to ask them to articulate 3 wishes to you. And you always promised that if they articulate 3 wishes to you, you will fulfill at least one of those wishes. And Amr said, yes, that is true. And so Ali says that, then are you going to give me the opportunity of asking you for 3 things? Wow. And Amr bin Abdawad said, yes, my offer is still valid. Ask. And Ali ibn Abi Talib says, my first wish to you is, O Amr, look at his mindset. We're looking about the mindset of Ali. He is always dissolved in Allah. He says, O Amr, my first wish is, accept Islam as your religion. Even in the battlefield, Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying to Amr bin Abdawad, accept Islam as your religion, accept and acknowledge La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, and then I will leave you alone. And Amr says, no way, man, not doing that. That's not a negotiable. So then the second thing Ali says, then he says that Amr, my second thing for you is, leave from here and go away. And Amr bin Abdawad says that, what are you saying, Ali? Leave and go away and then become the mockery of the women of Quraysh? That Amr cannot do. Then Ali ibn Abi Talib says, then you have no choice. But my third wish is that for you to fight me, and I'm sorry to say, but you will not survive. Imam Ali now fights Amr bin Abdawad in Khandaq. There is a fight that's going on. Amr bin Abdawad now, in the middle of this fight, just as Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is about to behead Amr bin Abdawad, Amr spits on the face of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And what does Ali ibn Abi Talib do? Just look at the mindset of Ali in the battlefield. He is fighting Amr bin Abdawad, the greatest warrior. One Amr equal to 1,000 people, right? The greatest warrior. He is about to behead him. I mean, he is about to kill him. And the guy spits on him. And what does Ali do? He backs off. He backs off. This is the importance of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Even when he is in the battlefield, his heart is in total control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Totally controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His heart is in total control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He backs off. Even at the intense of times, Ali is dissolved in Allah. Because he says to himself that if I am to kill him now, it would be because of the anger of him spitting on my face. Ali does not carry out any action based on anger. He carries out all his actions based on the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, he backs off. Amazing capacity, eh? Amazing capacity. You know, we sometimes, we are not in the battlefield, but even in some of the small things that we do, how quickly we forget Allah. How quickly we forget Allah. When we are in our cars and we turn on the iTunes and we listen to the music, how quickly we forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ali in the most intense, and then we say, no, we are Muhib Ali. Muhib Ali, really? Seriously? Muhib Ali? Have we understood anything about Ali ibn Abi Talib? That we do not even have any cognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our day-to-day lives. We don't even think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our day-to-day lives. You see, the mind would have told Ali, finish him off. But Ali does not operate with respect to the rationalization of his mind. Ali operates with respect to what his heart is saying. And his heart is saying that you cannot perform an act against the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, if Ali would have killed Amr bin Abdawad, what would have been the big deal? No big deal. Well, he's a bad dude anyway, man. Should have been killed. But if Ali would have killed Amr bin Abdawad at that time, today he would have set an example for us, saying that it is okay to carry out an act based on your emotions. But Ali is saying it is not okay for you to carry out your act based on your emotions. If you want to carry out your act, every time you want to perform an act, think at least in your mind, will my God be pleased with this act or not? This is taqwa. This is what taqwa means. This is what ikhlas means. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ali ibn Abi Talib ने अमर बिन अब्दवद का सर कलम करके जमीन पे फेंक दिया. अब सर उठा रहे अली इब्न अबी तालिब, अमर बिन अब्दवद का सर उठा रहे, और तारीख ये कहती है कि सर उठाने के बाद अब वापस आ रहे हैं और झूम झूम के वापस आ रहे, वाह झूम झूम के वापस आ रहे हैं. एक सहाबा था, मैं नाम नहीं लेता, एक सहाबा था, वो उसने अली को देखा, अली को देख के रसूल को कहता है ये सहाबा कि अली देखा आपने कि अली झूम झूम से आ रहे हैं, झूम झूम करते हुए आ रहे हैं, सर उठा के अब झूम झूम के आ रहे हैं. बस ये कहना था. रसूलुल्लाह ने उस सहाबी को बोला कि ज्यादा मत बोल, अली को हक पहुंचता है कि वो ऐसे आए. तू को बोलने वाला, जब टाइम था जाने के लिए तब तो तू बैठा हुआ था, अब तुम क्यों बोल रहा है? अमर बिन अब्दवद के जिस्म को जिस्म में जो अमर बिन अब्दवद के जो जिस्म में वो जो क्या कहते हैं वो जो ज़रा थी, राइट, वो लाखों दिरहम की थी और उसकी खोद भी कीमती थी। जैसे मैंने अंग्रेजी में कहा, गिलाफ पे भी सोना लगा हुआ था, गले में सोने का हार था। मौला ने किसी की तरफ नहीं देखा, बस सर को उठाया और अब वापस आ रहे। अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन को जब पता चला कि उसका भाई मारा गया है तो वो चिल्लाई, चीखी और दौड़ के अमर बिन अब्दवद की लाश पे आई। अब अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन जो है रो रही है। जब लाश के पास आई है, एक मर्तबा लाश को देखा और अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन ने रोना बंद कर दिया। अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन ने कहा कि आप मुझे कोई मुझे यह बता सकता है कि मेरे भाई को किसने मारा? तो किसी ने कहा कि तुम्हारे भाई को अली इब्न अबी तालिब ने मारा। जब अली इब्न अबी तालिब का नाम आया तो अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन कहती है, अब मैं नहीं रोऊंगी। किसी ने पूछा क्या बात है? कहती है कि इस बात में कोई शक नहीं कि जिसने मारा है वो साहिब शराफत है और इखलास की सबसे ऊंची मंजिल पे फाइज है। कि वरना ये चाहता तो इतना लूट सकता था कि जिंदगी भर खाता। अमर के जिस्म में जो ज़रा थी, जो कीमती जो चेन्स, जो सब कुछ थे, वो कहती है कि वो अगर चाहता तो इतना लूट सकता था और वो जिंदगी भर खाता। लेकिन मैं देख रही हूं कि ये शख्स ने जिसने मारा है उसने सिर्फ अल्लाह की रजामंदी के लिए मारा है, वापस चला गया। अमर बिन अब्दवद की बहन भी रिकॉग्नाइज करती है कि अली इखलास की सबसे ऊंची मंजिल के ऊपर फायज है। हम हैं जो अली इब्न अबी तालिब को समझ नहीं सकते। हम हैं जो अली इब्न अबी तालिब की लाइफ को अपनी लाइफ में हम इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करते। हम जो हम कहते हैं ना, हम शिया ने अली है, वाह शिया ने अली। The Prophet says, ज़रबतु अलीयिन फी यौमिल खंदक अफज़लु इबादतु सकलैन। Look at what the Holy Prophet says. This is in Khandak. ज़रबतु अलीयिन फी यौमिल खंदक अफज़लु इबादतु सकलैन. This one strike of Ali ibn Abi Talib in Khandak is better than the worship of all humans and jinns from day one until the day of Qiyamah. What is the reason? I would say this is the words of the Holy Prophet. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He does not utter any word except it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the Holy Prophet saying that one zarbat, one strike of Ali is equivalent to the worship of the humans and the jinn from day one to the day of Qiyamah. Why? The reason the Holy Prophet has made this statement is because that one strike of Ali was in total immersion and dissolution of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the reason why it has afzal of ibadatul sakalain, is because Ali's one strike to Amr ibn Abdawad was in complete alignment with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was Allah who was controlling that strike of Ali. This is the dissolvement of Ali. We have not understood this from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Allah wants from us on these nights of Laylatul Qadr. He wants us to come to Him. He wants us to gain proximity to Him. That's why He says in Hadith Qudsi, Abdi khalaqtul ashya'a li ajli. Oh my servant, I have created everything for you. I have created everything for you. وَخَلَقْتُكَ لِأَجَلِي. But you, I have created for myself. Allahu Akbar. You I have created for myself. We have reversed this. Allah has created everything. Allah has created the dunya for us. We have reversed this. We are in constant pursuit of the dunya. We are after the dunya. Allah is saying that I have created this dunya for you. You I have created for me. Don't go after the dunya, go after me. Because you will not find tranquility in anyone other than me. This dunya will not give you tranquility. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innal qulub. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what are you doing? Where are you finding tranquility? I have not kept tranquility anywhere else. I have kept tranquility in me. Today you have an iPad 2. You won't be satisfied. Tomorrow you will want an iPad 3. And then you will want an iPad 4. And that has Siri. So I want Siri. And you want this. And an iOS 6. And I want this. You'll never stop. You will never find tranquility in this world. Allah says, find tranquility in me. I have not kept it in this dunya. Why are you looking at it in this dunya? We have reversed it. And that is why Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi in Dua Arafah, Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, ماذا وجد من فقدك وما الذي فقد من وجدك. Imam Hussein alayhi salam says to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, the one who has lost you, what did he find? And the one who found you, what did he lose? Allahu Akbar. This is what Imam Hussein alayhi salam is saying. That everything, if I find you, I don't need anything else. I just want you. Let's move on. Let's come to the Battle of Uhud. We are trying to look at the Gnostic life of Amir al-Mu'mineen in the battlefield. In the Battle of Uhud, the Prophet tells the people not to leave their place, right? Again, I'm not going to go into the history of Uhud. You know the history, and I don't have the time to go into the history. So what happens is that the Prophet tells the people not to leave their place. But what happens is they see the war booty, right? And even though the Prophet has told them, 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 they leave. They leave. And they leave. Why? Because they are in pursuit of the dunya. They look at the booty and they say, we better leave because otherwise there will be nothing left for us. So what happens is they leave, and of course the enemies start to attack from the back where they were supposed to guard, right? And there is all chaos. And what happens is then these people who left, when the enemies come and fight from the back, they run away. They run away. And so what is happening now, all the companions of the Prophet have run away. The Prophet now is on his own, and he is wounded. The Prophet is hurt. And it is said in the history that his teeth were shattered in Uhud. The Prophet is on the ground wounded. Imagine the battlefield. The Prophet on the ground is wounded, but out of the corner of his eye he sees that in this whole battlefield there is a small corner there where there is somebody still fighting. And he thinks to himself that this person who is fighting, it cannot be a companion, he must be one of my own. He must be one of my own. And who is it that is fighting? It is Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now look at how Amir al-Mu'mineen's attention, it's not an easy time for Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is fighting. He is fighting this warrior, and he is fighting, and he's on his horse. As he fights, his sword becomes bent. So he gets off from the horse, he straightens his sword on his knee, and he continues to fight. And his sword becomes bent again. He gets back off the horse, straightens the sword on his knee, and he continues to fight until a point comes when he is about now to behead the enemy. He's about to kill that enemy, and as soon as he's about to kill that enemy, the enemy stops him, and he says to him, "Oh Ali, I have to ask you something." Allahu Akbar. It's in the battlefield. Uhud. The Prophet is hurt. He is wounded. Amir al-Mu'mineen wants to go and help the Prophet. He's about to kill this person, and he says to Amir al-Mu'mineen, "I want to ask you something." And Ali says, "What is it?" And this man says that, "I heard that you are the best of fighters. I heard that you are the best in the battlefield. I heard that you are the most courageous and the bravest in the battlefield. That I have seen, because you are about to kill me." But he said to Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says, "Oh Ali, I also heard that you are the most generous of all the generous. I also heard that of all the people, you are also the most generous of all the generous." And Ali ibn Abi Talib looked at him and he said, "What is it that you want?" And he said, "Oh Ali, give me the sword that is in your hand." Wow. Look at the test of Ali. Look at the test of Ali. He said, "I heard you are the most generous of generous. I want the sword that is in your hand." And Ali ibn Abi Talib, without thinking even for a moment, he threw the sword at this man. And he threw the sword in such a way that the kufr of that man got killed and the kafir became saved. And then this person says to Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says, "Now, O Ali, I want you to take me to your master. I want you to take me to the Holy Prophet." Because he said that if the level of the servant of the Holy Prophet is so high, then I want to meet the Prophet himself. How high will be his level? Ali ibn Abi Talib. इस अंदाज से अली ने वो तलवार फेंकी है कि कुफ्र कट गया लेकिन काफिर बच गया। और ये शख्स कहता है कि अब मैंने सुना है कि अली, तुमने खुद कहा है कि तुम मोहम्मद के गुलामों में से एक गुलाम हो। अब जिस गुलाम का ये मर्तबा है, उस आका का क्या मर्तबा होगा? मैं चाहता हूं तुम मुझे रसूलुल्लाह के पास ले जाओ। वो आता है रसूलुल्लाह। Now look, Ali is coming now to the Holy Prophet, but Ali now is not coming alone. He has brought a new Muslim with him. Now what happens? He comes to the Holy Prophet, and the Holy Prophet looks at him, and an amazing statement that the Holy Prophet makes to Ali. Ali looks at the Holy Prophet and he says, "Ali, everybody ran away from the battlefield. You didn't go? What a statement." Says to Ali, मैदान में से सब भाग चुके, Ali, तुम नहीं गए? Now what would be the response? You see, if it had been me, I would have said, I would have said one of two things, right? I would have said to the Prophet, I would have shown how great I am, right? "Oh Prophet, how can I leave you? You are the Prophet. How can I leave you? I will fight. I will kill them all." Right? I would have, shown, that, how much I love. Or I would have sort of said, I would have sort of blown my own trumpet, right? I would have said, "I'm Ali. I'm very brave. I won't leave the battlefield." I would have said something like that. What is the response of Ali ibn Abi Talib? What is the response of Ali ibn Abi Talib? When the Holy Prophet said, Ali, you did not go? Ali responded, Akfuru ba'd al-iman? Akfuru ba'd al-iman? Should I become a kafir after bringing faith? Allahu Akbar. Should I become a kafir after bringing faith? What a statement by Ali. Ali is making it very clear. The definition of iman in its totality is that you have to be immersed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you have to be in the itaat of the Holy Prophet. That is iman. आकफुर बादल ईमान, क्या मैं ईमान लाने के बाद काफिर बन जाऊं? है? ईमान का डेफिनेशन अली इब्न अबी तालिब बता रहा है. ईमान का डेफिनेशन, जो शख्स ईमान लाता है वो फिर हर वक्त रसूल के साथ होता है और हर वक्त इताअत रसूल में होता है, हर वक्त इताअत रसूल में होता है. फिर कोई भी सिचुएशन हो वो रसूल को कभी छोड़ के नहीं जाता. ये बहस जो होती रहती है ना, कि लोग हमें पूछते हैं कि पहले ईमान कौन लाया, बाद में ईमान कौन लाया. बहस होती है ना कि पहले ईमान कौन लाया, बाद में ईमान कौन लाया, औरतों में पहले ईमान कौन लाया, मर्दों में पहले ईमान कौन लाया, वगैरह वगैरह. मैं कहता हूं यह जाहिलाना बहस है. यह बहस में हमको पढ़ना ही नहीं है कि पहले ईमान कौन लाया, बाद में ईमान कौन लाया. यह बहस है ना, बिल्कुल नॉनसेंस है. मुझे इस बहस में पढ़ना ही नहीं. मैं तो सिर्फ यह जानना चाहता हूं कि ईमान लाने के बाद ईमान पे बाकी कौन रहा और कुफ्र में कौन चला गया. क्वेश्चन तो यही है ना, ईमान लाने के बाद ईमान पे बाकी कौन रहा और कुफ्र में कौन चला गया. आकफुर बादल ईमान, क्या मैं ईमान लाने के बाद काफिर बन जाऊं. अली इब्न अबी तालिब, Malik Ashtar and Imam Ali. Now let's go to a third battle. I don't have time. I had so many battles, but I don't have time. But let's go to a third battle. The third battle is the Battle of Siffin. Right? Let's go to the Battle of Siffin. Now Malik Ashtar is one of the buddies, he's a really good friend of Imam Ali alayhi salam, right? The way Imam Ali and Malik used to speak sometimes, it's not something that, people would speak with Imam Ali like, these guys were really good friends. So they are fighting in Siffin. And there is a situation where they are fighting, and what happens is that Malik and Ali, their backs are with each other, right? So Ali and Ali's back is there, and Malik's back is behind Ali, and Ali is fighting this way, and Malik is fighting that way, and they're fighting. And of course, whenever Ali kills somebody, he says Allahu Akbar, and whenever Malik kills somebody, he says Allahu Akbar. After the battle was over, they were in their horses, they were coming back to their tents, and Malik says to Imam Ali, now look at the conversation, this is a conversation between two friends, and Malik says to Imam Ali, he says, "Oh Amirul Mu'mineen, how many did you kill?" Because Malik knew, because he could hear Imam Ali say, "Ya Ali, Ya Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." He says, "How many did you kill?" So Malik said, "Amir al-Mu'mineen, I think today I killed more than you. I killed more than you today. Because as you were killing people, you were saying Allahu Akbar, and I could hear, but I think I killed more than you." And Imam Ali alayhi salam smiled at Malik, and he said, "Malik, there was a difference between you killing and me killing." And Malik said, "What was the difference?" He said, "Malik, whenever somebody would come in front of me, and I was about to behead them, I would look into their eyes. And if I saw the birth of one follower of the Ahlul Bayt for 70 generations, I would not kill him, I would just wound him and let him go. You just killed I looked at his eyes and I was saying, is there going to be a birth of a believer for the next 70 generations? If I saw the birth, I just wounded him and let him go. This is Ali in the battlefield. Ali. In the sermon of Nahjul Balagha, sermon 155, Imam Ali alayhi salam was very upset. You'll see that sermon, that he had not tasted martyrdom in Uhud. And he was always promised martyrdom, but in the battle of Uhud, when he had not tasted martyrdom, he was very upset. And him and Holy Prophet were talking with each other, and the Holy Prophet said to Imam Ali alayhi salam, O Abul Hassan, said, O Abul Hassan, after my death, my ummah will not be good to you. And he said that you will have to face many calamities, O Ali, and there will come a day when you will be martyred in the position of sajda in the masjid. And there were tears flowing from the cheeks of the Holy Prophet. And at that time the Holy Prophet said to Ali, O Ali, when you face these calamities and this oppression, tell me, what will your sabr be like at that time? And Imam Ali alayhi salam replied to the Holy Prophet, and he said to the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, may my mother and my father be sacrificed for you, O Prophet. I just have one question. And the Prophet said, yes, what is it, Ali? He said, when that time comes, when there is so much calamities, and when that time comes when I am going to be martyred in the state of sajda, I want to ask you one thing, that will I be on the path of truth? Will I be on haqq? And the Holy Prophet said, of course, Ya Ali, you will be on haqq. You will be on the path of truth. Then Imam Ali says, in that case, Ya Rasulullah, that will not be a time of sabr and patience for me. That will be a time of shukr and thankfulness for me. Ali ibn Abi Talib. Today, the Quran descends and Ali ascends. Quran-e-Natiq and Quran-e-Samit. Today it is said that when Amirul Mu'mineen was struck on the head on that night by Ibn Muljim, he never groaned and he never yelled. It is said that he did not even show any signs of pain. The only thing he said was Bismillahi wa billah wa fi sabilillah. He said, Fustu wa Rabbil Kaaba. I swear by the Lord of Kaaba that I have been successful. Even at the moment when he is struck on his head, Ali even at that moment is dissolved in Allah. Even at that moment he's thinking only about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Hassan alayhi salam puts his father's head on his lap, and he saw the blood that was pouring from his head, and he began to cover his face. Imam Hassan looked down at his father's face, and tears started to flow from the eyes of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. When these tears fell on the blessed face of Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam Ali opened his eyes and he said, oh my dear Hassan, he said, oh Hassan, you are crying. Please do not cry at this moment, because I find myself in the company of the exalted group of people who are sending salams on me. Oh Hassan, I see that the Holy Prophet is here, and my wife Fatima al-Zahra is here, and they are waiting for me to come back. The historians say that Imam Hassan finishes the prayer and Ali was finishing his prayer while she was sitting, but he was unstable. He was about to collapse many times. Eventually they took Imam Ali alayhi salam to his home. After the Imam arrived at his home, Imam Hussein alayhi salam came close to his father. It is said that from the time that Imam Ali was struck to the time that Imam Ali alayhi salam came home, Ayatollah Khamenei says that Imam Hussein in this short time frame had cried so much that his eyes had become wounded. Abu Hamza Somali narrates, Abu Hamza Somali, you will recite the dua from Abu Hamza Somali, but Abu Hamza Somali narrates from Habib ibn Amr. He says that I went the last few hours of the 21st night to see Amirul Mu'mineen, and Imam Ali alayhi salam opened his eyes. I was said that I was crying, and Imam Ali alayhi salam said that, oh Abu Hamza, why are you crying? You should not cry. And Abu Hamza said that I don't know what to do. And Imam says, what do you see, oh Abu Hamza? And Abu Hamza said, I don't see anything. But Imam says that I'll tell you what I see, oh Abu Hamza. I see the angels of God have come to me, and I have seen, and I see all the prophets have descended to me, and I see my dear beloved Prophet Rasulullah who is waiting for me, and he is saying to me, come our dear Ali, come so that we have missed you, come back to us. عزیزان گرامی عزادارو، شہر رمضان کی 21ویں شب ہے. اسما بن نباتا کہتا ہے کہ میں نے دیکھا کہ مولا کائنات اب کچھ لمحوں کا مہمان ہے. ابن ملجم کی تلوار زہر مولا کائنات کے بدن میں پھیل چکا ہے. اب امام نے امام حسن کو آگے بلایا اور وصیت شروع کی. وصیت کرنے کے بعد مولا نے سب کو کہا کہ دیکھو میرے بعد آپ کا امام میرا یہ بیٹا حسن ہوگا. عزاداران حسین ایک مرتبہ حسین کا ہاتھ لیا اور حسن کے ہاتھ میں دے دیا. پھر جناب زینب کو بلایا, زینب کا ہاتھ لیا اور امام حسن کے ہاتھ, ام کلثوم کا ہاتھ لیا, امام حسن کے ہاتھ. عزادارو ایک ایک کر کے سب کے ہاتھ امام حسن کے ہاتھ میں دیے. ایک مرتبہ امام کمرے کے کونے میں ایک عورت کھڑی ہے, بچہ ہے, وہ عورت رو رہی ہے, رو رہا ہے. ایک مرتبہ امام نے کہا ام البنین کیا کیوں رو رہی ہے؟ ام البنین پکڑ کے آگے بڑھتی ہے, ہاتھ جوڑ کے کہتی ہے آقا آپ نے سب کا ہاتھ لیا اور حسن کے ہاتھ میں دیا, میرے عباس نے کیا غلطی کی ہے؟ آپ نے عباس کا ہاتھ حسن کے ہاتھ میں نہیں دیا. یہ سننا تھا. امیر المؤمنین نے کہا بیٹا ابو الفضل ذرا میرے پاس آؤ. ابو الفضل عباس امیر المؤمنین کے پاس آئے. ایک مرتبہ علی ابن ابی طالب نے ابا عبداللہ الحسین کو بلایا, حسین ذرا میرے قریب آؤ. اب حسین قریب آئے. عزاداران حسین, اب امیر المؤمنین نے عباس کا ہاتھ لیا اور حسین کے ہاتھ میں دیا. ایک مرتبہ کہا بیٹا عباس کربلا کے میدان میں جب میرا حسین شہید کرنے کے لیے جائے تو میں چاہتا ہوں کہ اپنے آپ کو میرے حسین کے اوپر قربان کر دینا. عزاداران حسین, شاید یہی منظر تھا جو ام البنین کو اس وقت یاد آیا جب ابا عبداللہ مدینے سے چل رہے تھے, جب ابا عبداللہ چل رہے تھے. ایک مرتبہ ام البنین آگے بڑھتی ہے. ام البنین نے ابا عبداللہ سے کہا اے میرے آقا کیا میں عباس کے ساتھ تھوڑی دیر بات کر سکتی ہوں؟ ام البنین نے گزارش کی، امام الحسین نے کہا ہاں ماں آپ عباس کر سکتی ہے۔ ام البنین نے عباس کے ہاتھ کو پکڑا، مدینے کی طرف قافلہ مدینے سے مکہ جا رہا ہے، کربلا کی طرف جا رہا ہے۔ ایک مرتبہ ام البنین نے عباس کے ہاتھ کو پکڑا، کہا بیٹا عباس میرے ساتھ چلو۔ ام البنین کو وہ منظر یاد آ گیا ہے جو آج 21ویں شب کو امام علی ابن ابی طالب نے عباس کو حسین کے سپرد کیا تھا۔ ام البنین عباس کو لے کے قبر رسول پہ آتی ہے۔ ایک مرتبہ ام البنین نے عباس سے کہا ابو الفضل میں چاہتی ہوں کہ اپنا ایک ہاتھ قبر رسول پہ رکھو۔ عباس نے ایک ہاتھ قبر رسول پہ رکھا۔ اب ام البنین نے کہا بیٹا دوسرا ہاتھ اپنے ماں کے سر پہ رکھو۔ عباس نے دوسرا ہاتھ ام البنین کے سر پہ رکھا۔ اب ام البنین نے کہا عباس اب میں چاہتی ہوں کہ مجھے قسم دو، عباس مجھ سے یہ وعدہ کرو کہ تمہارے یہ دونوں ہاتھ اس دیر تک سلامت رہیں گے، اس دیر تک سلامت رہیں گے اور جب تک میرا حسین رہے گا۔ ام البنین میں یہ نہیں چاہتی کہ